What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Rumpier Sports Hardwood show for some Monday night NBA action. And I just realized I forgot to bend this cap properly. That was my goal coming into Monday, to get this brim fixed so the chat stops making fun of me. I didn't do it today. Didn't put it in the cup like the guy in the chat said. So I'm going to have this donkey straight sort of bill here today. But joined by my boys, Title, Big T. Title, go to you first. How was your weekend? Overall thoughts here on this 6-game NBA slate?
Yeah, weekend was good. NBA went pretty well. MMA had one of my worst MMA weeks. Big T was on the other side of a lot of stuff. Don't fade Big T's heater. I keep realizing it. Anytime I was on a different side of Big T, I seemed to lose. He was even on Derek Lewis. And yeah, so don't fade Big T heaters. You keep saying it. I faded the Big T heater, or he faded me. Either one.
Oh,
he got the
it wasn't like that.
No, I'm just messing. No, he's a tournament, stuff like that. But hey, it was a fun weekend regardless. NBA, I'm excited to jump into it. Get a little later start than usual. So it's interesting, but 6-game slate, never going to complain.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lesson I learned a long time ago, Title. You're a little bit younger, you got time, but when Big T's hot, you don't fade it. And it's tough for me too, because typically when Big T has a good night, Hoop doesn't have a good night. When Hoop has a good night, Big T doesn't have a good night. Yep. So Big T heaters usually mean money leaving my pocket. It's a lesson I've learned. I've had to adjust my play over the years based on the Big T heaters, and it's kind of what I'm doing now. I mean, Tony dictates what goes on. Big T, what's up, brother?
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to some NBA. No, entitled, somebody in the chat on Saturday was like, oh, we need to make Big T the MMA. I said, no, that's not how this works. It's like everything. People should listen to all the content and then make their own decisions. Like always, I read Title's work, and then I still have my own opinion on stuff. Like everyone wants us to all think the same things. NBA, NFL, everyone should do that. Every single person watching this show, every single person reading the content, soak it all in from wherever you want, but then have your own opinion. And yeah, Title knows way more than me about MMA, but I know tournaments, and yeah, sometimes it falls your way in the tournaments. And if my freaking guy didn't pass out in the locker room, might have been a real fun night, because that was super annoying. But
that's what happened with that guy. Locker room.
Oh yeah, back spasms or some friggin' whatever. Who knows what happened?
Yeah.
He didn't go to the ring is all I know. Whatever that means.
Yeah, usually when you don't make it into the octagon, that typically is not good for your fantasy output, right? I mean, the good old goose egg right next to the name.
And he still shipped the monster. I don't know if he was in that lineup.
He wasn't in that one.
But you still cashed in single entry without him. I mean, it was that was one of the crazier slates.
On DK with him. Like I had a 2-pointer. This is why you should never give up in MMA or anything. I had a 2-pointer and a 0-pointer. And cashed every tournament with it. Like it is what it is. It's never give up until that slate's over.
High variant sport, that is for sure. And with a lot of busts and popular dudes getting knocked out or not putting up good scores.
Remember that main event dude goes down, man. Like when they're 60-70% owned and you got the other side at 7%, like
it's GG's. You're going up.
MMA, like anything can happen, especially with the dude like my balls is hot, Derek Lewis. Like, the dude literally throws hammer. He might not be the best technical fighter, which is why a lot of people but he drops heat. And when he connects, like you're going down. I don't care who you are.
You can be beat for 24 minutes, and that 25th, he'll catch you with that one. I mean, he was beat all fight. His leg was torched, he was set, and then it only takes one in MMA. That's why you got to love it.
I love his fights, though, because he literally doesn't care. Like, he'll just stand in there and just take it. And he's just waiting for that one chance to just throw that bomb.
Yeah. Speaking of MMA, like part of the rumpiersports.com package is you sign up for a monthly, weekly thing package. You get every single sport we have on the site. You're not paying extra for anything else that we always talk about on the show. A lot of these other sites, when baseball comes up, they're going to charge you $300-400 more. NASCAR just started a couple weeks ago. Some sites were charging up to $500 for NASCAR content. We have the best team in the industry in all these sports, and it's all included under one I think very fair price. I mean, probably one of the cheapest prices in the industry in terms of content providers. So you go over to Run Pure Sports. We still have that promo code Workbench21, gets you 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. And like I said, it includes every single behind the paywall piece of content that we offer. So head on over there, Workbench21. As always, let's see. Yeah, not bad on the likes. Already 150, and I didn't even have to say a word. How do you boys feel about that? Title, I see you shaking your head. That's pretty exciting, huh?
That's good. They were good. They were pretty good yesterday in chat too.
Yeah.
On the weekends, that chat's been doing good.
Yeah. So let's after one or two games here, we'll pick a number. We'll give out a piece of gear, and I don't want to leave my boy Big T hanging. So I worked hard last week to get this gear ordered. There's some miscommunications with the company. We finally got the order in, finally paid for it, got it shipped, showed up to Big T's house, I believe, over the weekend. Was it Saturday, Friday, or when did it get there?
It was yesterday, yeah. Or
yesterday.
Maybe Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, so he gets the order. Larges are what we need. Like we're low on larges. We put in a big order for larges. Big T starts digging through the box. He calls Hoop. He's like, "Where's my larges?" I said, "Your larges are on that order." He goes, "No, they're not." He said, "I'm looking at 4 larges." I said, "No." I pulled up the order. I said, "There should be 50 larges." He goes, "No, there's only 4 larges here." So, son of a bitch. I called the company. I said, "Hey, the only size we really needed was larges, and we didn't get the larges." "Oh, yeah, I forgot to call you and tell you that we had to back order the larges. So if you're waiting for a large, I apologize." But right before we hopped on the show, I got an email from the guy, and they got shipped out today. So I'm guessing they'll be at Big T's house pretty soon, and then those will be out the door within a few more days. Right, Tony?
I mean, full disclosure, this is the truth. Like, I had my sheet printed out with every single person that was still owed larges. Like always, everyone always makes fun of me too, because I have the wife. We got all the whatever bags, random bags are around the house, Walmart bags or Kroger bags or whatever bag you can find is where we put the shirts, so that when I go to FedEx, I can just put it in the new sleeve and be ready to go. So we had it all ready to go. I get in the new box, no damn larges. So whoever's waiting on the larges is just out of luck, I guess, for now. But we'll get them out. I can't wait to get them all out. So hopefully this week.
Yeah, should be there this week. The guy just emailed and
the dude in the chat said the best point. Well, they've been waiting so long, they might just be XLs now.
Yeah, it's true. If you are large and you need to, change your size, you reach out. We can get you. We can get you your piece of apparel a lot quicker. Man, circling back to last week, if you guys weren't watching, our boy Black Jesus, if he's in here. Still, I can't get over that hat, man. That thing looked nice on Black Jesus. Just a phenomenal look on Black Jesus. If you're in here, Black Jesus, that picture was fucking fire. So we're excited to have you. All right. Should we hop into the slate? Anything else?
No.
Ready to find some winners.
Yeah, time to find some winners. And there might be some right out of the gate here. We got the Bulls. We got the Rockets, 226 total. Chicago favored by 1. The big news here is on the Rockets side. They're going to be without Christian Wood. They're going to be without Victor Oladipo and DeMarcus Cousins, who they're trying to trade, which I can't imagine there's a team in the league that has any interest in DeMarcus Cousins after the way he's looked so far this season. But guys on the Rockets side, that will get a big boost. John Wall, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker will be forced to play a lot of minutes, and he'll probably do nothing. House, Jayshawn Tate. I mean, the prices are, guys like House and Tate, they're up there. I mean, 4.7 for House, 5.9 for Tate. You're not really getting a discount, but some of these bench guys are in play as well. Sterling Brown. Sounds like they might start this Justin Patton guy, not available on DK. He is the minimum on FanDuel though at 3.5K. So if he is in that starting lineup, that would he'd be an interesting play over there on FanDuel. On the Bulls side, really good spot for them as well. Wendell Carter Jr. kind of starting to play some minutes into the 30s. His price is very fair on both sides. Garrett Temple, I think, is in play on FanDuel, where you have to play two small forwards. I think Levine is a good tournament target. Not many people are going to pay the big price tag for him. And then Kobe White, I like quite a bit too. 5.7 on FanDuel, 6.2 on DK. I'm going to go to you first, Big T, because this is kind of the game theory thing that you've been playing with throughout your heater. Just locking these guys in and letting the field catch up to you, or you're going to take an underweight approach and, load up on some of these later games. Talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, and this game looks tasty right out of the gate. We got no rim protection, which I always like. No, not much defense. Good guards that can score the ball. Underpriced people. Everything checks the boxes for plays you're going to like. I mean, I think the Houston guys are going to end up pretty high owned. Well, Wall and Gordon, I mean, but still, they're really good plays. There just isn't anyone there, which makes these guys good plays against a team like the Bulls. We got a pretty high total, close spread. It literally just checks all the boxes. Even guys like Tate, Nawaba, Sterling Brown, House, these guys still, they might be priced up, but there's not dudes against the Bulls. So, yeah, they're not in like a total lock spot. But if everyone plays Wall and Gordon, these other guys are naturally going to be a lot lower owned. And I just think they're great plays. And then Chicago's got a ton of dudes, but definitely Levine. I know his price is up, but man, who's going to guard him? They don't have anyone that's going to guard him. The dude keeps going off. I mean, he's 20 shots, over 20 shots every game. I mean, he's just chucking the ball. He's been over 50 or around 50 basically every game. I mean, he could easily have a ceiling spot here where he gets you 60 plus. And he's a great play. I don't know about the rest of Chicago, though. There's not maybe Wendell Carter just because they don't have any bigs that can handle him. I get a little worried about him just because I haven't quite seen the ceiling, but it could come here. I mean, who's going to guard him? They don't have anybody. PJ Tucker, I guess. I mean, PJ Tucker's a pretty good defender, but I don't know. There's no size. So I definitely like Wendell Carter too, but maybe a little bit less than the field.
Yeah, I like the Levine call. Like, I don't think he's going to have crazy ownership tonight because that next tier of guys isn't all that much more expensive. The Lucas and especially like LeBron James at, what is he, 10-4? Like, people are going to find the money to get up to LeBron, to Luka, even Damian Lillard. So I think a guy like Levine, although this game is going to be popular, a guy like Levine, the guy with probably the biggest upside in this game, could have lower ownership than he should. Title, I'm going to go to you first. This game, like I said, is going to be popular. A lot of good cash game plays, a lot of good tournament plays. How are you handling this one?
Yeah, so this game is really hard to avoid. And the only news I see is questionable is Tyler Hero and Porzingis. So it's not like we're waiting on a ton of news. However, random news pops up all the time after lock that you don't even hear about or expect. So keep that in mind. But it's hard to get away from this game. John Wall's in a great spot. Eric Gordon's in a great spot. PJ Tucker's way too cheap on both sites. He's minimum on FanDuel, 3.5K on DraftKings, and he gets power forward eligibility too. So he makes sense for value. I love Jayshawn Tate. He's only 5'9" on DraftKings. And I say only because this guy is a really good basketball player. They're going to need him to play a lot of minutes. Sometimes he plays upwards of 30 minutes, hits the 40-minute mark. And if he gets those minutes in this game, he can absolutely smash and have a ceiling. So I think he goes a little overlooked. Like his price at 5'9" on DraftKings. 6'6" on FanDuel is a little tougher to pay, but he does have that upside. He'll definitely be low owned over there. On the Bulls side, I like Wendell Carter a lot on DraftKings. He's only 5'3". He's 5'4" on FanDuel, which is fine, but you only can play one center, and I'm not sure he's the guy I want to be locking in. But on DraftKings, where you can play two, I like his price. He played 33 minutes last game. He's a good player. He should eat up in this matchup over Tucker, who's too small. Zach LaVine, like you said, good tournament play. Better play on DraftKings, where he's 300 cheaper, but he has the upside on both sides to get there. Other than that, not too much. Just there's so many pieces in this game. I listed like 6 guys that you can play. A lot of cash plays, tournament plays. It's a great game.
You got guys like, too, that no one's going to play. Like Thad Young, like he doesn't play any minutes, but you could definitely play him. Like you look at it, like he's got 36, 37, 32, 34, lots of games where – I'm not saying he's like a great piece, especially in the first game, but you could play him, and he could easily get you 40 against a team that it doesn't have any bigs. Like I said, like what if Wendell Carter gets fouls and Thad Young plays 30 minutes somehow? These are tournament spots that I like to bring up on these shows because he is guaranteed to be like 1% owned, 2% owned, and he could get you 40 at under 6K right out of the gate. Like, it's just a really good tournament play, I think, because he just hasn't shown minutes upside.
Yeah, I mean, just playing limited minutes, but man, he's doing a lot when he's out there. The Wendell Carter thing, I think he is a really good play. He's going to be highly owned, but yeah, there's always risk with him. He's got a low floor. Like he's very capable of going out there and landing a dud, but at 5.3K, tough to ignore when he's playing 30 minutes. But a good game overall. I mean, you got that nice total, 226. Chicago, only favored by 1, so basically a pick 'em. There's 6, 7, 8, 9 guys I think that are in play here. Some for cash, some for tournaments. All right, Tony, we got 715 watching, about 270 likes. What do we need to get to give away a piece of gear today?
I mean, I think we got to stick with that 400 number. It was good. It was good to us all last week. We should probably even go. We got to go up too. Yeah, it was 400 last week. We hit it easy every day. We're already at 720. We'll be over 800 at some point. We got to go 450 this week. That's easy too.
Yep. He called it 450. So let's get to 450. It unlocks the piece of gear. It unlocks the SO play of the day. It unlocks the workbench play of the day. So you get all three of those things. If we can get over 450 likes, should not be that difficult. I mean, real simple, like I said, so we don't have to keep pounding the like stuff. When you come in, the show pops up, just hit the like. And if you're not subscribed, do our producer a favor and hit the subscribe button as well. I mean, you got to keep everyone happy around here. We'll keep showing up, doing all these plays, doing all these shows for free. So hit the like, hit the subscribe.
I got something else for you guys. You guys are the cash guys, the projection guys. Why do all these Houston projections feel low to me? I like looking at them. They all feel low. Every one of them. Even Wall and Gordon almost feel a little low.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's not like this is a blowout spot. It's not like the Bulls play really good defense. There's going to be naturally, there's got to be at least 4 of these guys that exceed like 30 fantasy points, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
After Tate, so you got the 3 good guys, and I think Tate's a little low too, like Title said. But take those guys out. After that, you got dudes like Sterling Brown 20, House 22, 23, Alaba 20, Tucker 18. I think all those guys should be higher. Every one of them.
Oh, I'm with you. I was looking at this stuff earlier, and obviously they're unknown DFS commodities, so these projection sites are hesitant to bump them, but it's not adding up to me. It's especially in this game that could be, if the final score is 115 to 113, which is kind of what they're projecting. Yeah, there's no way those projections are accurate. So that was one thing I was looking at before we came on the show, just bumping those guys up and rolling with it. I mean, 4 of these guys are going to have really good fantasy games. Obviously, we like Wall. Obviously, we like Gordon. 2 more guys, maybe 3, are going to have big fantasy games. There's no way around it.
I honestly don't understand why House and Nwaba are. I feel like I'm missing something. House could play 35 minutes, anytime.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm probably, somebody's out there probably laughing at us that we're missing some. I know there's the new dude coming in, but I just don't get it, I guess. These guys feel way underpriced and underproduced or under projected.
No, I agree with you, man. I am right there with you. I think that's a nice little edge on the slate for sure.
And it's right out of the gate again. I feel like every slate we do, it's like this. But
yeah,
this game is so good right out of the gate. I have a hard time not playing pieces from this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. There's going to be ownership, but I'm the guy. Wall's going to be owned. Gordon's going to be owned. We know who's going to be owned. I don't think these other guys are going to have all that big of ownership. So.
The title's right about Tate. If there's anyone I'm confident in, it's Tate. The dude played 40 minutes a couple games ago, 33 minutes, 36 and 39 fantasy points the last 2 games without Cousins. And now he's projected under 30. I just don't get it. I feel like that's too low.
He's really good. He plays a lot bigger than he is. Great left hand. Yeah. He's really good too.
He has a lot of outs to get there. A lot of outs to get there.
Right? He's going to go to the hole and shoot his little lefty shot, and it's going to go in. I don't know.
So who's your favorite run back? Levine?
Yeah, so that's where my issue is. I mean, it's really just Levine. And I mean, I like the other guys, but like, so that's the example of why I like the Houston guys. Like, would you rather play Thad, Patrick Williams, Temple, or would you rather play guys like Tate, Nawaba, House? I would rather play Tate, Nawaba, House than those Bulls guys, just because the Bulls have like, I mean, without counting, they got to have 10 dudes that they play or in that range, it feels like.
Yeah, Houston's rotation is definitely going to be tighter.
Very tight, very tight. We just need to start. I'm curious to see who they start today. There is some chatter that it might be this Patton guy. We'll see.
I think he's going to start for sure.
Yeah, should get that news rather quickly. All right, we got the Grizzlies, we got the Mavericks, 232.5 total. Dallas favored by 5. One of the pieces of news, like Title talked about earlier, is Porzingis and whether or not he plays. He popped up on the injury report earlier, and he's officially listed as questionable. A lot of times we see these midday downgrades. It typically means the guy's going to sit. We'll see. This game's 30 minutes after lock. We probably will get the news before the slate locks at 8 o'clock. Pretty important news on the slate, obviously. If he were to sit, big boost to Luka. And a lot of these secondary guys. I mean, the thing is, these secondary guys all get a little bit of a boost. It's not like a major boost to anyone, but could bring a guy like Maxi Kleber in play a little bit more. Could bring a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith in play a little bit more. Willie Cauley-Stein potentially could start 3.2K. So when we get that news, we should get the starters as well, be able to determine what to do with the Dallas stuff. On the Maverick side, the guy I continue to have interest in is John Morant. He was the first ever 4X play of the day. Really didn't get there. I'm going to keep playing him. He's got a ton of upside. I think he has a monster game at some point, so I like him. Valanciunas, I think, is an interesting play. The price tag on Kyle Anderson, I refuse to pay on either side. He's like 7-point-something K on FanDuel. He's 6.6 on DK. I don't care what he does. I'll never play Kyle Anderson at that price point. But I mean, we kind of need to wait for the news here on the Dallas side. I mean, obviously Luka's in play either way, but would get a boost if Porzingis is out. And like I said, I like Morant, especially in tournaments. I'm going to keep playing him. Title, what are your thoughts on this Grizzlies Mavericks game?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting if we get the Porzingis news or not. We probably should before, but maybe we don't. Maybe we get it right at lock. Luka's a good play regardless. And then the boost would be, like you said, it would be Tim Hardaway, Maxi Kleber. I'm fine with Maxi Kleber on FanDuel, even if Porzingis does play. He's 3,900. It's just a punt. We always talk about what it gets you. That's a good price tag over there. And if Porzingis does play, he's only 7,800 on FanDuel. He's more expensive, 8,500 on DraftKings. But 7,800, no one's going to play him because everyone's scared when someone's questionable and stuff. He's had a couple big games, good games as of late. And he obviously, we've seen his ceiling at 7,800. So I like him in tournaments. Just monitor the news. Dorian Finney-Smith would get a boost if he's out. Otherwise, he's 4,300. Even if he's in, it's fine as a last piece, but I don't love it. Just got to watch the news because Hardaway, Finney-Smith, Kleber, even Brunson. When you take off the second best player on a team, everyone's going to benefit and get usage. Luka is a great play with Porzingis in. If he's out, he's one of the best plays on the slate. As far as the Memphis side, John Morant for sure, like you said. I'm just going to keep buying into the talent. 7,200 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DraftKings. This guy has 60-point upside, so I like him in this matchup. Valanciunas 7,200 on DraftKings. I like Justice Winslow's 3,600 on DraftKings, and he just came back last game, played 21 minutes. I mean, if he gets 25 minutes in this game, he can definitely crush 3,600. And I don't think he goes too high owned because I don't even know if people know he's back and they're going to be weary about the minutes. But I like that price at 3,600. He has a ceiling for sure. It's a good game. It's a 6-game slate like we talked about, but this is another good game, and it becomes even better if Porzingis gets ruled out.
Yeah, boys, I got the chat asking if I'm tied up to the workbench because I'm in the darkness. Forgot to turn the light on. The sun is beginning to set, so I'm a little bit dark here, but we'll proceed. We'll definitely proceed. Tony, Grizzlies, Mavs, what are you liking here, and how are you going to handle this Porzingis news?
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those games where I'm just not going to play it. Like, I'm not going to play. It doesn't really matter what happens with Porzingis. Another thing to note, too, Dallas hasn't played in about, 8 to 10 days? They've been off for at least a week. I always get a little worried when they haven't played that long that they go a little deeper in the rotation, maybe a little more cautious with guys like Luka. I don't know. Like, Luka's awesome. I have no problem with it, but I just don't love the spot coming off that break. And then Dallas always guards point guards like Ja decent, so I don't love that spot. I don't mind Valanciunas, but center is loaded every freaking night. So for me, this game just looks like a stay away. The only guy that catches my eye at all is Justice Winslow, like what Title was saying. If you guaranteed me he was going to play 25 minutes, he'd be a lock for me. And I still might play him. I have a lot of interest. I mean, he played what?
21.
21? Yeah. So I'm a little worried because I think some guys were out that game, and now everybody's back pretty much except for the one dude who's out. Brooks. Brooks.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty much all their like wing guys are in there. So I'm a little worried. I think he probably plays 21 minutes in that range again, 20 minutes, which is good. He's right on the verge of being in play for me. But as far as the studs, I'm probably just going to fade it.
Yeah, I mean, I think those guys will come with decent ownership. Obviously, Luka will be pretty highly owned, and if Porzingis is out, I mean, his ownership will skyrocket, I'd assume. But we saw the situation with Porzingis a lot earlier on in the season, and these guys all, some had good performances, some had bad along the way. There really wasn't much consistency in terms of who was producing at a higher rate with them out. So I don't think it's a must-play situation with any of these other guys. Like I said, I'm going to keep playing Ja in tournaments. All right, next game we have Portland. We have Phoenix, 227 total. Phoenix favored by 5.5. And same situation here with Portland. No CJ McCollum. All these guys get a pretty substantial boost, but their price tags have also gotten a pretty substantial boost. On DK, now you're paying 10.9. For Lillard, you're paying 7K. For Cantor, you're paying 6.5. For Covington, 5K for Derek Jones. Oh my, like these are some bad price tags. Ooh, 5K for Derek Jones. Imagine that. I could never click that. So yeah, I mean, these guys are mostly priced out for me now that I look at this. I mean, and it's not even that good of a spot against Phoenix, who typically plays pretty good defense. On the Phoenix side, I think a guy like Chris Paul is interesting in tournaments. I don't really think he's going to have all that high ownership at 7.8K. Not really seeing him pop anywhere. The guy that does stand out though is Ayton, 6'9" on DK, 6'4" on FanDuel. It's about the cheapest price tag I've ever seen for him. So, really for me in this game, despite the high total, I don't have a ton of interest, mostly because of the price tags on the Portland side. But on the Phoenix side, I like Chris Paul in tournaments. If this game stays close, I think he could have a monster game, and I like Ayton a little bit. And maybe Kaminsky. If Kaminsky's going to start, he's only 4K on DK. The minutes have not been great, but he can produce in a little bit of time, short periods of time. So if he starts, I have a little bit of interest in him, but really it's going to be Paul and Ayton for me from this game, mostly in tournaments. The 6.4K price tag for Ayton on FanDuel is definitely a good one. You can play him in cash in tournaments. Go to you first, Big T. What are your thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, Phoenix, for whatever reason, has been probably the team I have the least amount of feel for in the entire NBA. I just hate when all these guys are in there. Chris Paul's the guy that I keep playing, and he keeps doing well. But besides him, man, the other day I played Mikal Bridges on FanDuel, and then people in the chat were like, what got you on Bridges, blah, blah, blah. And the truth of the matter is it was another situation. Last guy in, he just fit in there. Sometimes it happens, and when you're running pure, you're running pure. Because I didn't like him. That's just the honest truth. Like, I'm always honest. I didn't like him, but I had the perfect team. He was projected pretty good, and it was the last dude in. So, and then he ended up doing really well, which is just how it goes when you're not running pure. He'll just go in and suck when you hate the guy. When you're running pure at the moment, the guy you don't like ends up totally crushing, and then people are like, how'd you get on that dude? It's just funny how it works like that. But I don't have a great feel for him. I mean, Kaminsky started the one game, did pretty good, but not a ton of minutes. I don't know. Like, I wish Booker or Paul was out. It'd be easy. Ayton feels too cheap, but he just keeps sucking. I mean, you look at him, he just hasn't shown me anything. I'm not a box. You guys know this. I'm not like a huge box score guy, but if I look at a guy and I just see tons of stinkers, I have a really hard time clicking on him. I mean, it's hard for me to play him. He's probably a good play though. I mean, just as far as like the projection and the price, he looks like a good play on paper. It's just, man, it's hard for me to click that name. And the Portland side, I mean, you can always play Dame. He's kind of in that price range of Luka. He's in the zone right now too, where he's hitting freaking everything inside the gym from half court. He's pointing at the logo when he hits his logo shots. Kind of like what I'm going to do to Title when we end up playing. I'm going to point down at the logo.
Stop it.
Hit the logo shot. But I don't know. Another guy that I seem to play more than the field is Gary Trent because he just keeps playing minutes. I mean, 39 minutes, 26 fantasy points the other night, but he missed some wide open shots. And I just think it's always there where him and Booker will probably be guarding each other. And I could see Gary Trent having a solid game in here as a sneaky play. No one's going to play Gary Trent, and I think he's all right.
Yeah, I mean, Gary Trent should come in low owned and very capable of getting hot and just, nailing a lot of threes. So I don't hate that in tournaments. Title, anything standing out to you here in this game?
Yeah, so I click on this game, and the first thing that stands out right away is Ayton's and then I just go and look at the box scores and look at just everything. Like I haven't watched too many Suns games this year. It's probably one of the teams I've watched the least amount. I still watch a handful of games, and anytime I mean he just doesn't get the ball in the low post for isolation at all because it's Chris Paul and Booker. So he relies on offensive rebounds, putbacks. He gets in foul trouble, it seems like every other game or something. Anytime I'm watching, he's in the bench with foul trouble. It's a good play projection wise. It's as cheap as he's
bench.
ever.
Not the right bench. He's in the wrong bench.
Yeah, not the bench you want to be at. That's for sure. And so yeah, the price is good, but I'm gonna wait and pass on it. I'm like Big T. I don't box score watch, but when you don't do anything all year, something's going on. So I'm out. Price tag's good. Other people will play him. It's a good play if you have a feel for him, but it's a no for me. This whole game's pretty much a fade. Cantor is the only one that. Cantor and Chris Paul. I think Cantor can eat up Ayton. Cantor always has a big ceiling like we've seen. I'd rather play him than I would Ayton. And Chris Paul, he shows up for these games against other stars. A good price tag. I could see him going ham against Damian Lillard, getting him mad, hitting his shots on the other end. I always love playing CP3, so definitely a good play there in tournaments. Should be low owned.
Yeah, the weird thing about Ayton is, if you just step back and look at the situation, you'd assume that he would be better with Chris Paul there, easier baskets, a lot of oops, and just hasn't been the case, which, doesn't make too much sense to me, but, we'll see. I mean, that FanDuel price tag, I think, is kind of hard to ignore at 6.4K, but like you said,
definitely
you pull up that box score and you don't feel so good about it. So it's one of those situations where, do you think he has the upside or do you not? I don't know. In play, but I could definitely see a reason to not go there. All right, before we hop into the next game, make sure you like and subscribe. Where are we at? Doing well. We got 840 watching, 385. We got to get to 450 to give away the gear and to unlock the plays of the day. So make sure to get there. I think you guys can do it pretty easily. Also, we got our podcast going, the First Look podcast with Draft Cheat, and he brings on a different guest every single day. So make sure you find that on Apple or Google Play and subscribe to it so you can get an update or a notification every time a new pod comes out. Also, after us, we have JSU and Holden Final Countdown taking you all the way up to lock, breaking down all the news and notes of the slate as they develop. Very important this year with, a plethora of news breaking right before lock. So you want to tune into that. That's part of our premium membership at Run Pure Sports. You can use that promo code WORKBENCH21 to get 25% off your first payment at Run Pure Sports. One last thing, we still have the promo going with Monkey Knife Fight. If you go to Monkey Knife Fight, use promo code RUNPURE. You get a $50 match on a $50 deposit. You can also, parlay that with our Discord channel where we have plays and, recommendations for every single sport on Monkey Knife Fight. So head on over there and check that out. All right, next game, Heat, Thunder. 212 total, Miami favored by 7. The big news here is Al Horford is going to be out along with other guys on the Thunder that have been missing. On the Heat side, Tyler Hero is questionable. This game is 9 p.m. Eastern, so I really don't think I guess it's an hour after lock. We might have the news. But if he's out, big boost for a lot of guys. Butler would get a boost. Nunn would get a boost. I think Duncan Robinson, Bam Adebayo, all would get a pretty decent boost if he were to miss. Gilgeous-Alexander, really, really cheap on FanDuel for some reason. They dropped him down to 7.5K for some reason. He's in line, obviously, for a lot of minutes. A lot of different options here. Isaiah Roby also in play with no Horford, better price on FanDuel at 4.6. 4.9 on DK still in play. The one thing that stands out in DK is power forward is a very, very weak position. Surprisingly, there's just like not many guys there. So at that 4.9 price tag, Roby is definitely a guy to consider. Go to you first, Title. What are your thoughts here on this Heat Thunder game?
Yeah, so I love Roby. He's better play on FanDuel, but I still like his price at 4.9 on DraftKings. I just think he's a really good player. Horford out, he gets a bigger role, more minutes. Anytime that's the case, and I think they're good. Definitely a ton of interest. Like you said, SGA 7,500 on FanDuel. I don't know why. I mean, FanDuel's done pretty good with pricing this year too, for the most part. So I don't know. They definitely missed this. 7.5 for SGA is way too cheap. Very good play at a shooting guard position that isn't very good either. On DraftKings, 8.4. He's fine, but I don't like him as much. Tyler Hero, he is definitely big news on this slate. If he plays, I like him at 6K on DraftKings or 6.2K on DraftKings for the fact that no one's really going to play him because he's questionable. If he's in, people just won't have interest in this game as much. I'll take him in tournaments at a lower ownership for a good price. Bam Adebayo is only 8.8K on DraftKings. I like that price. Jimmy Butler would get a boost if Hero's out for sure. 9.2. I'd like him a lot if Hero's out. If he's in, I don't have as much in Jimmy. I'd rather some other spend ups. And then on DraftKings, Theo Maladone, 4.4K. He's been getting over 30 minutes in the past 3 games. He doesn't do too much with it, but anytime someone's getting 30 plus minutes for low 4 price tag, he's definitely in consideration.
Yeah, good breakdown there. Tony, the chat sees you smirking and they're predicting you have something that you like here. Is that the case?
I mean, the chat is all over me, acting like I'm drunk. First of all, is it not encouraged to drink during the show? I mean, last week they got me hammered and that was one of the 100K nights. So, I mean, I don't know why. Is it not encouraged? Is that not allowed here? I thought we were allowed to drink.
Definitely is encouraged. We definitely want people to be loose and fun. And I'll tell you, I've drank with Big T. The problem when Big T starts drinking, Big T is a quick drinker. Okay, when Big T drinks, he gets it in and consumes a lot of alcohol in a short period of time. We spent some time together this summer. Hoop will start drinking at about 2 p.m. Big T doesn't touch the sauce until the lights go down, and then when the lights go down, he starts pounding the sauce. So we got to be careful when he starts because he goes at a rapid pace.
I mean, it got me last week too. Full disclosure, like always. I started drinking on that show, and man, I was hammered by the end of it. I was struggling. Right now, it's just a nice polish, just sipping on it because it got me last week. I'll admit it. I was definitely toasted on that show. And the funny thing is, I started the show. I was only on my first drink. I went and got a few refills as the show went on, but that's how quick I got hammered. Hoop's right. That was a good projection about me because it snuck up and got me way quicker than it usually does, for sure. But yeah, this game, I mean, so another reason is the Discord was all about Roby earlier. It was a classic. I mean, K Fallick was in there he had his pants off, touching himself, the Roby, talking about his 30 minutes. The chat was all laughing. Everyone's laughing at Fallick, and he's spewing off numbers like on February 17th, he had the rotation that put him in the 49th percentile of this, and then he just kept going on and on about rotations and Horford out, and everyone's laughing, and he just like K Fallick does. He stayed serious, stayed on point as everyone's making fun of it. But what that tells me is we better play Roby tonight because he was the theme of the Discord all afternoon today. So he's in contention, and I want to make sure he's starting because if he doesn't start, I worry about the minutes a little more, but I don't see how he doesn't. I mean,
yeah, I think he starts.
He has to almost. You never know with these crappy teams what they'll do, but I think he starts. As long as he starts, I definitely like him a lot. Yeah, SGA is a good play. Not really sure about the rest of them. I mean, like Title said, Miami, the Hero side. If Hero's out, I mean, maybe you can go to one of these other guys. But Miami's one of those teams I just don't ever play. I mean, Jimmy's finally priced up a little higher. He's been awesome, but I don't know. OKC plays good enough defense. I don't need to play Miami here. So it's just the couple OKC guys for me. But like I said, Roby, they were kicking that name around all day in chat. That usually means a big night coming.
Yeah, and
this dude in here, by the way, this dude just keeps talking trash. Don't talk DFS and not play DFS. Just keeps running his mouth. Are you the one dislike, dude? Stop running your mouth. That's bad mojo.
That comment can be applied for competitors, not us. I think that's the one department that we have absolutely covered. No matter what, we play our plays. You can go to these other sites, and a lot of times they don't actually play DFS. Here we actually play DFS. So that comment, I'm assuming you put in the wrong chat box. So we'll give you the free pass. Which guy is it?
What he's talking about though? He just keeps like running his mouth. 28 DK points, too expensive. No shit, buddy.
Oh man, we got good mojo here. We can't be derailed by some donkey in the chat. That's for sure. All right, anything else here in this game?
No, Roby's gonna get a 40 piece now though. That guy he convinced me even more.
Yeah, I mean,
lock it in.
Not a good move. Once again, I mean, I've warned the chat many times. You don't go after Big T on his heater. Let's wait for a couple losing sessions, and then we'll get back to normal and make fun of him. But right now,
you think it's Bobby Fi? He changed his name on us. Had to be Bobby Fi.
It could be. He's been gone since those bold statements.
He's got to be under a different name. Just hitting that dislike when he comes in, spewing some losers, and that's just what he does. That's all right.
Yeah.
First of all, and this now saying angry drunk. That's another thing in the scouting report that Hoop will give. Big T is definitely not an angry drunk. He's a great drunk to hang out with.
I hate to, man, you guys in the chat, I love going at Big T and making fun of Big T and poking Big T, but you're just serving up freaking softballs right now. This is easy. Big T is the happiest I will say, literally one of the happiest people when he drinks. Great mood, fun to be around. Correct. Man, these are some bad takes in the chat. Like, you're making me defend something I don't want to defend. But hanging with Big T after some wine, he likes the white wine. It's a good time, man. Big T's fun to hang out with when he's drinking. Not an angry drunk at all. Actually, probably the most opposite you could be of an angry drunk.
This guy's just all over me now. If I looked like you, dude, I've hit more workbench than you've hit in your life. I got 3 kids, a good-looking wife, plenty of money. Don't worry about it, buddy. You're in the YouTube chat. Yeah. You're in the YouTube chat hating on us.
Another thing I will say, that Big T outkicked his coverage. All right, Mrs. T is a nice lady. I'll say that.
This show where Hoop just keeps saying good things about me. Let's keep this going.
Well, I mean, they're just making it easy. They're making it easy.
Picking me over title next? Like, who do you got? You definitely got me on this show.
No, we're waiting until the heater is done, and then it'll be the normal.
Yeah, we're going back to normal. Like, we got to kiss your ass now because you win DFS every night. Like, we have no choice. But once this is over, we're going back to normal. Big T does very well in that department, guys. The Mrs. T is not only a very kind lady, but a kind lady on the eyes as well, I have to say. So, all right, let's talk some basketball here. We have the Hornets, we have the Jazz, 227 total. Utah favored by 12.5, and these are the tough spots for me, especially with like a Jazz team that playing phenomenal basketball right now at home, full strength. Going against this Hornets team, it's just a team that we've talked about where I just really struggle to play when there's not an injury, and there's just not an injury right now. Conley's back, so it takes away from all these guys. Kind of just have to look at price points and guys that kind of stand out that way, and it would be like Gobert on DK at 7.4K. Seems like a cheap price tag. Interested there. Royce O'Neal is playing a lot of minutes. He's at that power forward position on DK that is a little bit difficult. Bogdanovich at 5.3 on DK. So mostly more DK plays than FanDuel plays with Bogdanovich, O'Neal, Gobert, but that's probably it on the Utah side. On the Charlotte side, tough price tags, especially on DK. LaMelo, they got all the way up at 8.6K. They got Rozier at 8.1K. Gordon Hayward's priced down a little bit. Maybe you can consider him more of a tournament play. Title, I'll go to you first. You play more so cash games. This is a tough game for cash games. Would you agree?
Yeah, like the first game we talk about, this is why we like so many people in that game and stuff. 6-game slate, not too much interest here. It's Gobert on DraftKings. He's too cheap. 7.4K against Cody Zeller. Sign me up. He could have his way 2020. Absolutely break the slate. And then on FanDuel, looking at this is where you look at different prices. LaMelo Ball 7.6 on FanDuel, and he's 8.6 on DraftKings. 7.6 on FanDuel is too cheap. It's not the best matchup against Utah, but 7.6 I'm just buying in on the talent at this point. Yeah. The ceiling is so high for LaMelo. Points, rebounds, assists. He gets stocks. Like, that's everything you want. And I think he goes a little overlooked too, because people don't like targeting Utah. The first games and stuff is better. So 7.6, I'm very interested. 8.6, that's a little too pricey for me. Other than those two, not too much interest.
Yeah, Tony, we've kind of been in lockstep with the Utah situation. A tough team when they're at full strength. They're pretty much they are at full strength here. And just a really good team playing really good basketball. They always play better at home as well. They actually do have fans there too, so a little boost. It's a tough game for me to really target. It's just price point targeting like Title and I talked about. Are you seeing this any differently?
Yeah, it's a tough spot. They're favored by 12. It's a really tough spot. And if I did play Utah guys, which I'm not going to, I would definitely run it back with some Charlotte guys because you need it to stay close. LaMelo Ball, even on DK, if you played Utah, I would say almost the same thing with LaMelo. Like, if I was in on LaMelo, I would definitely play some Utah. This is a game that will crush for sure. Utah's playing faster than they have in past years too, scoring some points. They're a good offensive team. So if Charlotte stays in this, it's going to be because guys get there. LaMelo, you got a little revenge spot for Gordon Hayward, who obviously started his career in Utah, and he's kind of cheap too at 7,100. Again, I don't think I'm going to go to this game, but if I did, it would be a little 3-man stack like LaMelo, Hayward, and one Jazz guy. Gobert or whoever. I just don't ever play Gobert. Center's so loaded. Gobert's been good too, but he's just not a Big T type play. I'll probably fade this game, but again, if it stays close, I think you see a lot of these guys end up crushing at a low ownership too. They're not going to be owned.
I'm surprised you're so anti Cody Zeller. I thought this would be the game. You're Gobert just. I thought that would be enough for you. It's a good price tag.
Gobert is the problem. I just don't like his game.
He's not flashy, that's for sure. It's the offensive rebounds, the dunks. That's when he gets there.
And he keeps crushing too. He'll probably crush tonight. Honestly, he probably will get there. He'll probably put up a solid score. It's just I don't know. I don't necessarily know if there's a ceiling.
I'm about to make the chat unhappy, guys. All right, I'm getting sick of this stuff though, where we call it a number. Tony said 450. We get to 450 and then it freaking stops. They see the 450, then it's over. We can keep going, and we've been generous at times when we've gone way over. All right, we're at 450.
Tonight for us, they're getting it done. They're defending our name with whatever that one dude's name was.
Yeah, I got to go back though now and say if we want, we'll give out the gear, but if you guys want these plays, we got to get to 500. Don't just get to the number and stop. You got to keep this going. This is how the momentum builds, and when momentum builds on the show, me, Big T, Title, we get excited. And we'll do things. We did the ticket thing. That's going to happen again. As long as this momentum keeps building, we need it to keep building. But when you get to the number and then just stop, that kills the momentum. That's just keep it going. That's all I say. I got people in the chat that are pumping it up. Our boy Derek Ringering, he says, let's get to 500 or bring in all the good mojo. Correct. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. We got one more game. And then we're going to get to the plays. So just make it happen. We got the Wizards. We got the Lakers, 228 total. Lakers favored by 7. No Anthony Davis on the Lakers side. No Schroeder on the Lakers side. In probably one of the best spots here at home against this really bad Washington Wizards defense. LeBron James has a very nice price tag on both sides. 10-4 on DK and 10-4 on FanDuel as well. Kuzma, good FanDuel price at 5.7K. The 6.7K is kind of tough on DK. KCP, I think, in play on both sides. Harrell, Caruso, Horton Tucker, a lot of options here, a lot of value guys. I think you can take shots on it. I feel pretty good about a couple of these guys doing big things. And then on the Wizard side, kind of the same approach for me in most nights. Like when Westbrook and Beal are in, I really can't consider many of these other guys. They're not coming in all that high owned. I mean, I think the ownership on these guys will be relatively low. You know, LeBron's going to have a lot of ownership. Luka will probably have a lot of ownership. I think Westbrook and Beal go overlooked. We'll go to you first, Big T. You know, obviously we know the guys on the Lakers side. We know LeBron, Kuzma, and FanDuel. Talk about Westbrook and Beal, any interest in those guys, and then any other potential value plays on the Lakers side that stand out to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good late spot, I think, for the Lakers, and especially guys like Horton Tucker. I haven't been on him that much, but, man, if this game somehow gets open where there's a bunch of scoring, like he could have one of these games where he throws up something in the 30s for a nice cheap tag. And all these guys really, I mean, Harrell, Kuzma, KCP, Caruso. Washington plays no defense, and these guys are going to be somewhat low owned. Like they're going to have ownership. I'm not saying they're the 2%ers, but maybe between that like 10 and 20% range, most of them. I mean, they have to be in that range, be in the late game. And Washington just doesn't play D. I could see this game being a game where LeBron gets 16 assists or something, like 18 points, 16 assists, 12 boards type game. LeBron's going to go off. He's another reason I don't love Luka. I just don't see how LeBron does it. And I haven't been on LeBron maybe all year. I think I've been on him like 1 or 2 games. Coming off a loss, though, this is just a game where I see him going off. There's no one on Washington that can really guard him. I hope people play Luka and even Dame just to get LeBron. I mean, LeBron, anything under 50% tonight on this slate, I think is very, very good. And I just see him crushing. You look at the Washington side, it's a little tougher, but I mean, Westbrook he's looked a lot better lately. I mean, you just look at his numbers. He's made the offense go. The Lakers have no rim protection. Washington could hang in this game even. And if Washington hangs in this game, you got a nice late hammer with Westbrook, Beal, and these Lakers guys. I don't really like any of the scrubs for Washington. I keep wanting Bertans to happen. But, man, he had the 2 good games in a row, and then he comes right back and goes 2 for 9, 2 for 8 from 3. Man, he's just frustrating because you know eventually he's going to find that shot. And I feel like it's a decent spot tonight, but especially on FanDuel at 4,500, he's way better on FanDuel, I think. But for me, I got a lot of interest in this game. I mean, for the most part, I'm just the early game and the late game tonight. So, like always, maybe I build one team a little more geared towards the first game. Maybe build another team where I'm geared a little bit towards this game with the game stack and kind of filter the plays in between to make it happen.
Any of these cheap guys on the Lakers side stand out? I mean, there's a few of them obviously that are in play. KCP, Caruso, Barkeef, Horton Tucker. I mean, how would you kind of rank those guys?
I mean, it's tough for me I would probably take Horton Tucker if I had to choose one.
Yeah.
He definitely has the highest ceiling, I think. As far as safety, I think KCP would probably be the safest just because he's going to play 35 minutes maybe. But he also doesn't have that much of a ceiling. So I would say probably Horton Tucker for tournaments and KCP for safety.
Yeah, I like that call. Title, what do you got here in this Wizards-Lakers game?
Yeah, LeBron on both sides. He's the top spend up on the slate. If you want to get different in tournaments, I don't hate it, but cash games, I want to play them. As far as the Pope, Horton Tucker talk, I think the more popular will just be like whoever's cheaper on both sides. So on FanDuel, Pope's 200 cheaper than Horton Tucker, whereas DraftKings, Horton Tucker's 200 cheaper than Pope. In tournaments, I would probably just go the other way of the ownership and take the higher price guys because their projections. Like I like Horton Tucker more and he has a higher ceiling, but the minutes, Pope's obviously going to get more minutes. And if he gets hot from threes, he'll get there. So I like taking the lower owned guy in tournaments, depending on the site. Montrezl Harrell is a really good play. 5.8 on DraftKings. I think he gets a little overlooked and under owned too, and he can absolutely dominate this matchup. I like running it back with Beal. He's under 10K. I don't think anyone really goes there because there's other stars that are grading out better. Beal's not projecting too well with the full Washington team, but Beal just anytime Beal's low owned in a game against LeBron and they need his offense to stay in this game. I could see him going bonkers, absolutely crushing this price tag. I lean him over Westbrook on both sides, and he'll be low owned. And then on FanDuel, Caruso's only 3.6K at point guard. That's too cheap. He's 4K on DraftKings, which is fine, but I prefer him on FanDuel. Kuzma, like you said, there's just so many pieces in this game on the Lakers side. No Davis, no Schroeder. They need the guys to step up.
Yeah, that's 100% right. And it's a good hammer game. I mean, it's 10 p.m. Eastern, so a good hour after, the other later games. So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of different ways to go. Oh, my gosh, you pull it up, 492. We said 500. Oh, is this going to be one of the first times I ever squash the plays, guys? Is that all right?
I mean, we're going to cruise into 500.
Well, it's time. The time is now. There's no more time to cruise. I mean, it's now. It's go time.
By the time.
All right, I'll read this little thing I need to read, and then I'm gonna pop back on. And if it's not there, we're just lights out. So, all right. Whether you're going to the workbench for normal activity, whether you're going for the Eiffel Tower, whether you're going for the dry hump like Title likes to do, our friends over at Manscaped are there to hook you up with the proper equipment so you're well groomed and don't turn away the ladies. I mean, you don't want to come in there with a big bush and the lady gets turned off and then the workbench activities are done. Manscaped has designed the proper equipment so you don't end up with any injuries either. Those little nicks and cuts are really a damper on the evening activities. So head on over to Manscaped, use the promo code. I believe it's a new promo code. Actually, we had to switch it up. That new promo code is RunPure20. Gets you 20% off your purchase over at Manscaped. So head on over to manscaped.com, get the proper piece of equipment so you can properly perform on the workbench. All right, we're over the 528, so we'll go with the plays. First, we're going to title.
Out too. We can talk about Porzingis for once.
Yeah, let's do that real quick. That's pretty big news. First thoughts on that, Tony?
I mean, you guys should talk about it more than me because it doesn't really change that much. I still like LeBron more than Luka. Maybe I look at some of the lower pieces a little bit more, just knowing that he's out now. But I'm definitely not going to play Luka tonight. I'm still worried about that time off more than most people probably will be.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously like Morant. I think the odds of this game staying close, but I mean, it's only a 5-point spread before. I think it increases, so I like Morant. Kleba 4 point. I really want to see who starts here because typically with the Mavericks, the person that starts gets a lot of run. I mean, they could go small and go with a guy like Brunson. And when Brunson was starting, he was playing a lot of minutes. They could go with Willie Cauley-Stein, who he's only 3.2K. I kind of lean the starter in this situation because that's the guy that's been getting the minutes in the spots. Title. What's your lean?
Yeah, so first look, Luka gets a big bump, obviously. Luka LeBron lineups, I think, are very concentrated. So going to like a Beal or Levine or a pivot off makes a lot of sense. Tim Hardaway gets a big boost. He's probably my favorite that gets the boost. A lot more shots to go around. This guy he doesn't care. He'll chuck it up. Good shooter, good player. I like him. And then like the Brunson, if he starts, I like him a lot. Dorian Finney-Smith gets a boost. Richardson gets a boost. They all get boosts for sure. Luke is the biggest, and then Hardaway is my favorite, the secondary guy.
And I don't think it's like slate changing boost, but it's enough on this slate to put the guys in play. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's not. I don't think there's too many locks that come out of this. Yeah. But there are a lot of good plays that are going to be fillers and price fine are definitely on both sides now.
Yeah. Because there were not a lot of like standout like value guys that are like lock. So it kind of just propels and pushes those guys all up a little bit and brings them into play, not like core plays or lock type plays really. Tony, any initial thoughts here?
No, yeah, I mean, I'm with you guys. I need to look at some of the secondary pieces a little bit. We'll be in the Discord and JSU will be on there to talk a little bit more about some of the other pieces for sure.
Yeah, JSU and Holden will definitely cover it in depth on the final countdown. So head on over there and check it out. All right, title, the SO play of the day.
Yeah, so we talked about a little earlier. I was hyping it up. Big T got in a little bit, but Jae'Sean Tate. I'm a big fan of this guy's game. It's the perfect spot. My favorite game environment on the slate too. I think he gets overlooked. People are going to look at 5,900. Remember him when he was 3K, 4K and stuff. This guy's a grid player. 5,900. I still like it for the spot. Don't think the ownership's too much. And he has 45, 50 point ceiling. So SO play of the day, Jayshawn Tate.
Yeah, I like that call. As we talked about when we talked about that game and broke it down, just those guys aren't projecting properly. I mean, assuming Vegas is right, we got a pretty high scoring game, should remain close, and there's just no way that we don't see 3 or 4 of those guys have big games. So I do like that Jayshawn Tate call a lot. All right, Big T, who do you got for the official Monday night workbench play of the day?
Yeah, so I thought about old Horton Tucker here for a minute. He kind of looks good. He's probably a little too chalky too. These Houston guys, I like these Houston guys a lot. But man, the Discord was talking about him all day. I just feel good about Roby. We've had too much chatter about Roby. The chat was hating on him, and the YouTube chat the dude was making fun of him. Our Discord was loving him. K Fallon. There's just too much discussion. He's got a crush tonight. I mean, he just has to. I believe in the mojo. The mojo around him tells me a big game's coming tonight. I'm going with Mr. Roby.
I like it. I definitely like it. He will have ownership. I mean, it's
not
kind of one of your
1%.
Yeah. It's not. This isn't a 1% fly under the radar type play. I mean, he will have ownership. It won't be extremely high. The ownership will be much higher on FanDuel versus DraftKings. But I like the Roby call for sure. Solid play. Tons of upside. All right. So like I said, head on over to Rumpier Sports. We got JSU Holden taking you all the way up to lock, breaking down the news. They'll be breaking down the Porzingis news and who gets the biggest bump and boost in this game. So head on over to Rumpier Sports to check that out. All right, we're gonna get on out of here. So for TitleTown.
Did we pick a winner?
Yeah, and the winner in the chat, man. I'm slacking on this one. I got him highlighted too. Derek Ring. He's a guy saying, it kind of made me upset when I looked at the likes and it was right at 450. He was the one in there pumping him up. Let's get to 500. So Derek Ring, send Big T a message with your information, and hopefully it's not a large, because if it's a large, you might be waiting a little bit. If you're any other size, you'll be getting that pretty quickly. So hit up Big T or info@Rumpier Sports. And as long as you're not a large,
the chat wants the 4X play too. The chat said, "Where's the 4X play of the day?"
4X play. God, can I go back to back on the same guy?
I mean, that's the only way to do it. Would they
allowed to go back to back?
Right back in there.
Yeah, I mean, so the 4X first 4X play didn't get there. I'm going right back to him, man. Like John Morant, he's not going to be super high owned. I mean, he'll have some ownership, but Morant's getting a 60 at some point. It's going to be tonight. Him and Luka go back and forth. Give me John Morant for the second time in as many plays.
And if not, the next time he plays, we'll come right back.
Back. That's how we roll. We're picking him till he gets there, basically. And but it's going to happen tonight, so nothing to worry about. Damn, look at those biceps in that picture. Woo, boy! You see this graphic on the video? Your boy's been hitting the gym. That looks nice. Thank you, Simon. All right, cool. That'll do it. We're going to get out of here. For Title, for Big T, I'm Hoop. Good luck to everyone tonight in your contest.
Good luck, everybody.